This is like the shortest episode ever. This is like the shortest episode ever. This is like the shortest episode ever.
Hello, Internet. Hello. Hello, Internet. Hello, Henry. Hello, world. This is After Campfire. It has been a month since our last upload, and that is entirely because my body has not stopped moving, except it kind of did, for a month. And that's entirely my fault. Uh, so, we're going to jump into everything that happened. We're going to put together like a little montage of just all the craziness um, and we'll get that all squared away. But we'll start with the fact that um, last time I made a video, Henry was here. We were celebrating my engagement. It was a wonderful time to be alive. And then Henry left, and he made this beautiful video. And while he made this video, I was in the hospital. Start of November, I um, had my appendix removed in an emergency laparoscopic appendectomy. What happened was I was like not feeling great. It wasn't that I wasn't even feeling pain. I was like, oh, my right side hurts a little bit. I probably pulled a muscle. And it was on a Tuesday that I said this. I think it was like Tuesday, November. Hold on. Yeah, it was like Tuesday. It was literally, I think, the night of Halloween. I said this. It's like, yeah, my stomach hurts. So it was Halloween night. I said this. It says like, do we need to go to the hospital? I was like, I don't think so. I'm probably fine. And the next day I woke up and it still hurt. It didn't hurt that much, but like I was beginning to feel nauseous and I had a headache. And it's like, you should go to the hospital. And I was like, oh, I'll see how I feel after work. Um, And I went to work, and it was November 1st, and I was doing all right, and I felt pretty great and felt okay. But I was having this weird pain, so I was like, pulled a muscle, let's try to stretch this out, and we'll see what we can do there. And then several people at work were like, you should go to a doctor. And I was like, I don't feel like it's that bad. And I was like, no, you need to go to a doctor. And I was like, okay. So instead of doing that, I took the first train home. Then at home, I got changed out of my work clothes, and then I went to a doctor. And I went to my doctor, who I go to a lot when I'm up in Bloomfield, because he's not my like primary care doctor, but he's like a decent doctor. Um, and he's like, okay, let's take a look. And he's like, how are you feeling? Like this and that. You know, I have a headache. I'm a bit nauseous, but I got this pain, and I got this pain here, and I got this pain here. And he goes, that's weird. I said, I know. So he's like pushing around and he's like, see, you seeming to show some discomfort. I'm like, I don't like you pushing on my tum tum. He's like, yeah, but like I'm not pushing hard. It shouldn't hurt this much. I was like, well, it doesn't hurt that bad. He's like, okay. And he put his hand on my left side. He pushed down kind of hard and he let go. And the pain shot across my stomach and like really hurt. He's like, yeah, you should go to a hospital. And I was like, okay, I'll go home, I'll get my stuff, and then I'll go to the hospital. And he's like, no, do you need me to call you an ambulance? And I was like, why would I need an ambulance? I drove here. And he was like, you need to go straight to a hospital. I was like, oh, okay. So I went to the hospital in Montclair, not too far from where I live. And by this point, my entire family is freaking out. My parents are on their way. My Sydney is trying to figure out how to get home from work. I get there and they check me in immediately, which is a bad sign. If you get to a hospital and you're not waiting in the waiting room, that's a bad sign. But in my mind, I'm like, I think everyone's overreacting. This isn't that bad. So they do these tests, and it turns out that I'm a bit dehydrated, so they put IVs in me. But like I'm not coming up terrible. So they're doing tests. My parents are there, Sydney's there. They're running all these tests, and they run a CT scan, and I am beyond nauseous by this point. And they go, and then they say, "Hey, you got appendicitis. It's not terrible. We're waiting for the CT scan results, but we're probably gonna have to spend the night, and we'll do surgery in the morning." I'm like, "Cool." So I look at Sydney and I'm like, "Hey." It's like, by this point, it is like 11 o'clock. I'm like, "Hey, can you guys just take my car home? If I have to spend the night, I don't want to pay for my car to be here this long." I'm like, "Yeah, no problem, no problem." And then they leave. And when they leave, it's just me and my dad. And the doctor comes and says, "Hey, we lied. The surgery's going to be like tonight." I said, "Like, when tonight?" And they go, "Now. Your appendix is doubled in size, and will burst." And I said, "What if?" And they're like, "No, like, you can wait. We'll send you home. Um, but like, it could burst like soon." I was like, "Okay." So then I call Sydney and my mom, and I'm like, "I'm going to surgery." Like, "When?" I'm like, "Now." So they're rushing back here. Um, I'm freaking out. They're freaking out. And they put me into the OR prep room, um, which looked a little bit like this. Um, and I was trying to make jokes, and I was having fun. But by this point, my parents were tired of me. Sydney was tired of me making jokes. Um, and I'm just trying to like get through this whole experience. And I go through the surgery. I wake up in the morning, and just like that, I'm out of commission for 2 weeks. I could barely walk. I couldn't lift more than 5 pounds at a time. I was in rough shape, but we got it out. We got my appendix out before um, the surgery was needed. Like not before the surgery, but before like the surgery could have been worse before the appendix burst. So that's start one of how my month of November went. From there, we had a 2 week recovery time where I was going in and out of doctors, getting tests done to make sure that my kidneys were working. I got cool scars that I'm gonna show you, right? Like here, probably I'm gonna show them to you. I mean, you'll see like, oh, that's pretty nifty. The big one's like right here, so you can like get an idea of where it is in my body. And then um, from there, I'd been working from home for 2 weeks. I finally going back to work, slowly getting myself back into like office life. And then Thanksgiving is coming up. Now, here's the thing. I was supposed to get surgery in the month of December. I was supposed to get surgery around what would have been this week. Um, but I couldn't because the consultations were at the time that they were. Hold on one second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I'm currently busy, as you can tell. So the consultation was the day that I ended up having surgery, which is rude because, like, at that point, just do a 2-for-1 special, take my hip and my appendix at the same time. But they didn't. They couldn't. The surgery was at 1 a.m. And so I never got to do my consult till I think it was around like end of November. We scheduled the surgery. They couldn't do the surgery sooner because you can't be under anesthesia twice in like a month, usually. It's not encouraged. Um, so now it's in January on the 19th, which is very exciting. But now we have to plan all the stuff. We have to do everything. And then on top of that, because of this, we realized that we're not going to be able to travel for Sydney and my anniversary. So instead of doing Thanksgiving this year, we went to Toronto. And we got all these cute moments and photos and all these little things. Look at how cute we are. Sydney says I can't use images of her in this video for legal reasons. So her face is going to be blurred out in all of these. And it was great. Uh, but we almost didn't get to do that successfully because on Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, um, there was a severe accident at the border that we were going to be driving over, where someone accidentally drove into the border security patrol and lit it on fire. And the problem is everyone thought it was a act of terrorism, and it wasn't. But that's really scary. And when we're currently already driving up to go to the border, it's not what you want to see. But thankfully, it wasn't that. We were able to go across a different border, and we made it and had a wonderful trip. And I went to my first basketball game. Um, yeah. So we came home from Thanksgiving, and um, immediately, literally immediately. So we got home Sunday. That Tuesday, which was the 28th by this point, like we'd been moving, the 28th was our engagement photos, which came out wonderful. We had a lot of fun. And then after that, we hung out with John Simon and Carla Aiello, and we went out to dinner, and we did like a really just nice time. And then it was my doctor's appointment. Then we had, what was it? We had two different weddings. Oh no, we only had one wedding. But then things got like busy after busy after busy. Um, and then it was my mom's birthday, and now we're here. Oh, that was it. Then that weekend, we didn't even have a chance to stop. We went up to Albany to look at flowers and the venue with my mother and Sydney's mother. So like there was no stopping us. And now I get to sit down and make this video, and I'm tired and I'm stressed, and I'm very happy that we're doing all the things because the lack of schedule was absolutely driving me crazy. So, last after Campfire, I asked Henry what was something that he likes to celebrate for himself. And originally, I wanted to celebrate, like, to have this video come out while we were still doing, like, things, um, and celebrating, like, surgery dates and stuff like that, but I didn't get to. So I'm changing my answer. A weird holiday that I celebrate in my own life, and I will probably celebrate again in a different format. I love celebrating July 4th, not because I'm patriotic, but because I died on July 4th in 2018, and I think that there's just something really cool about celebrating my birth slash death day, or whatever the heck you want to call it. So, like, I celebrate July 4th that way. And so it's one of my favorite days to celebrate. It's very weird, but the reason I do it is because it kind of keeps me sane when it comes to like the processing of mortality. But that's one of my favorite things in my life to celebrate. Um, but also, do I now celebrate my appendix removal? I could have died if I didn't get it out. I don't think it counts. I don't think it's nearly as traumatic, but it was a crazy experience. I don't know. It's very strange to me, and I'm in a weird spot on it. Um, so yeah, so that happened. That's my answers. I like celebrating July 4th. I like celebrating my death day. It makes me smile. Henry then asked me, what's something I wish I got into when I was younger? And so, like, Henry brought up, um, like axe throwing, which is something I'm glad I got into when I did get into it, because I think if I got into it when I was younger, it would have been weird. Um, I don't know, because my answer is kind of weird. I have two answers, so I'm going to tell you them both. But my first answer is I wish I took hockey more seriously as a kid. Like I really wish like I just got into like the competitive aspect of it more as a kid, because I got into it more as I got older. But as a kid, I was like, why don't we all just have fun? So like it made the game more just like a game for fun rather than something like competitive that I enjoy at that level now. So I wish I got more competitive at hockey younger. But if that answer doesn't count, the other one for me is I wish I played D&D more when I was younger. Um, just because I like it a lot. I like the games. I like the storytelling. I think I'm a pretty solid DM. I think I do a pretty good job at putting together games and schedules and all that stuff. But I wish I did it more because I wish I would have had more knowledge and experience. And like I am constantly learning and I'm constantly growing and building my campaigns and my stories and this and that. And I think it's a lot of fun. But I wish I had a little bit more set up that way. Hold on one again. Back again. The world is so busy. It's fine. It's fine. I've been running around like a psychopath all day. And that's the norm of my job. See, I've been working late every day since the start of December. Every day. Till at least 6 o'clock, sometimes 7, maybe even 8 if I really need to, but I haven't needed to yet. I think the latest was 7:30. But yeah, so Henry asked me what was something I wanted to learn when I was younger, and I'd said hockey. The other one I think is D&D. I think D&D is a better answer because like I knew hockey when I was younger, but like I knew of D&D, but I never played. I always wanted to play, but I found people as I got older, and I think that was really helpful for me. So that's my answer, and I think also COVID helped make it easier to learn everything about D&D. Like I'm already inside. Like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I got 3 years of learning D&D because there's nothing else to do. So that was a good one. I also learned calligraphy when I was older, but like that, I don't need to go back and learn that. So there's my answer to my own question. So Henry said he had a very short video. I know for a fact this is going to be a very, very long video, and that's okay. Um, but I guess since we're back at it again, I'm going to be doing these more consistently now. Henry's next video is going to be realistically either the fifth is probably the 15th, which means I'll probably be making a video around my birthday time, and that's cool. Sam, it's Sam from the future. Little did I know that was wrong. Instead, because the video needs to be longer, I would end up back in the hospital. So I never got to put this video out, so I'm editing it on the 19th, which means Henry gets my birthday episode, and I get nothing. What happened, you ask, Henry? I went to a doctor. It was Friday, because on Thursday I started having pain again. Right here, where if you saw earlier, is exactly where my stitches are, and it's where my gallbladder is, and it's the spot that all the doctors warned me that if this hurts, I'm in trouble because that means my gallbladder may go, which is what I was told. So I went to one doctor. That doctor says you need to go to a hospital. I'm like, I'm gonna trust my gut here because my gut's telling me that's not true. And instead, I waited. I called my endocrinologist. My endocrinologist is like, you should go to a hospital. It's probably your gallbladder. So I go to the hospital. They put another needle in my arm. They do another set of CAT scans, CT scans, and an ultrasound. And they're doing all this stuff to get my blood. And they're checking. And the doctor comes in after me being there for 6 hours, looks at me and goes, hey, you don't have any gallstones. Your gallbladder looks great. Your blood work, great. But has any doctor asked you when the last time you pooped was? No doctor asked that. Why? Well, they should. When was the last time you pooped? And I said, I don't know. They said, exactly. Because you haven't. Now, here's the thing. I was confused because every time I went to a doctor, they told me I weighed 250. Now I know my weight because I'm trying to lose weight, so you know your weight when you're in that spot. And I weigh 245 pounds, 245.4 to be exact, but still 245 pounds. Now, why does this matter, you ask? Because I was told I weighed 250 at every doctor. I knew that was wrong. So the doctor comes and says, here's the deal. You haven't pooped in several days, probably. Your insides are beyond backed up. It's disgusting. You're full of poop. full of shit. Um, Here's a bunch of medicine to make you go to the bathroom, and good luck. And they send me home after 5 hours after I'd been told by multiple doctors that I'm gonna need another surgery. I get sent home with a bunch of laxatives and a promise that if I poop, I'll just be okay. And guess what? I take the medicine. It's 4 a.m. I wake up. I go to the bathroom. I destroy a toilet for about an hour. I go on the scale afterwards, and all that 250 is back down to 245. I pooped out 5 pounds. Now, I've been on medicine since this to keep my bowels moving, and I'm feeling much better. But the fact that no one asked is mind boggling. Anyway, back to your main story. So Henry, my question to you. I had a really good one. I forgot it. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Please hold. Ah. Okay, now I remember it. Um. So Henry, you talk about like what's one thing you learned that you wish you learned earlier or got into earlier. One thing you want to do that you wish you got into earlier. What was one thing that was really popular for a while that you really enjoyed and then suddenly stopped being popular? What was that thing you really liked doing that you kind of people don't do anymore? Let me know. I want to know. Talk to me. I'll see you hopefully not in another month, but hopefully in like a week or so. This is After Campfire. My name's Sam.